Okay, so what would you go and point out to people at the art gallery today?
I would go point out some art and tell facts about that artist that did the art.
Okay, so let's point out one of the pieces of art that you might talk about. Who might you talk about?
Vincent Van Gogh.
And what would you tell us about Van Gogh?
I would tell them that he was famous when he was dead, and he cut off his own hair when he was mad.
Okay, who else has something that they would share? Keith, what would you share today?
Pablo Picasso.
And what would you tell us about Picasso?
He drew Angry Bird.
He did draw one. It does look very much like an angry bird. He's not as well known for his sketches, so that's a great one to talk about. I think more of his paintings. Alyssa, what would you tell us about? Or not Alyssa, sorry, Aisha, what would you tell us about?
Andy Warhol.
Andy Warhol, and what would you tell us about Andy Warhol? He does. What kind of art does he do?
He does pop art.
He does, with all those bright colors. Who else has something that they would tell
That
us?
was my art.
That's right. Henry, what would you tell us?
Don't tell my art.
And, what could you tell us about Roy Henry Vickers? He does. And you could tell us the whole story of the orca whale, couldn't you? You had such a good story to tell us. What might you tell us about? Banksy, and what can you tell us about Banksy? He does. And Alyssa, what would you tell us about? And what could you tell us about Bettina Shapiro? Who's over here somewhere? Yes, what can you tell us about her work? Or Martina Shapiro, I should say. Go ahead.
You're videotaping that.
It is actually. She does. What was one of her well-known? What was one of her well-known paintings? Do you remember? Paint Tulip, which you wrote about. What would you tell us about? Who? Oh, and what could you tell us about? He did. We have a lot of flower art around. Who could tell us about an artist who maybe even wasn't your own, but was just one we studied? Who would you tell us about? It was Jackson Pollock. What can you tell us about Jackson Pollock?
That he drips paint in blood.
He does. And you know what? You're right that you didn't. You're right that you didn't do a whole project on all the other artists, Conrad. But you know what, Conrad? You could tell us about some of them. Like, for instance, what did Kandinsky do?
He spray paints.
Did Kandinsky spray paint?
No.
What did he do? Let's look up at the board. What did Kandinsky do?
He made circle art.
He did. He had all those dots with his art.
And he does abstract art.
Right, and you could tell us a little bit about Vincent Van Gogh. He does actually. Circles and dots. And you told us you could tell us about Phil Hansen. What would you tell us about that? He did. And what would you mention to us, Ian? Oh, and look, Ian didn't even do Tom Thompson, Conrad. He didn't do Tom Thompson, but he has something to tell us about it. What can you tell us about Tom Thompson?
Tom Thompson liked the group 7.
He was inspired, and he did a lot of nature stuff, kind of like Sierra's Grampy. So Sierra's mom, they're not coming today, so she's in the library group today, but over here we have her Grampy's work, which was highly inspired too.